Hey everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus a little bit of insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is AMC Movie News senior editor, Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hey guys, welcome back to Movie Talk on this lovely Friday. I am so excited to talk about the news that dropped just yesterday.
And also here in a strange order of introductions is AMC Movie News Editor-in-Chief, John Campea.
I'm a guest.
And also here, writer-director, John Schnepp.
Hey everybody, I got the con crud like 3 weeks after Comic-Con, so I'm sick.
And also here, one half of Schmoes Know, Christian Harloff.
Con crud sounds terrifying. Sounds like the next Kevin Smith movie.
Just so you guys know, if you follow us regularly, you've noticed the last few weeks that I'm generally not on the show on Fridays. I'd like to call it a day off, but it's really just to do all the other AMC Movie News work I can't get done during the week. And Amy Rose has been filling in and leading the ship so great on Fridays, and so I just wanted to point that out, that she's doing such a good job doing it on Fridays. So today, I can't imagine why I wanted to come in today, though.
Weird.
I can't imagine.
It's 'cause the wait is over and the Merc with a Mouth finally has a date with the big screen. 20th Century Fox has announced a February 12, 2016 release date for a Deadpool movie, which will be directed by Tim Miller. At this time, Ryan Reynolds, who played the character in X-Men Origins Wolverine, as well as the recent leaked test footage, has not signed on yet, but it is believed that he will. In a recent interview, Reynolds commented on the leak, suggesting it helped move the process along. He stated, "The movie has been in a state of limbo for a while. There was such an overpowering reaction to the footage, you sort of feel like, oh, so we weren't crazy for our reasons for loving this character, for loving this role. It's interesting to see the power of the internet. It's awe-inspiring, actually. And it's neat that Twitter and Facebook and Instagram can move mountains when used in the right way." Amy Rose, are you looking forward to a solo Deadpool movie?
Understatement of the year. I am so freaking excited about this. I mean, I need to take like a breath before I get into this. Ryan Reynolds is fantastic, and X-Men Origins Wolverine is not a good indication of what can be done with this amazing character.
Oh, no.
That was just awful on all fronts. Some of you may have still enjoyed it. Good for you, I did not. I love this freaking character so much. I do find it very interesting, the director, who has not very well-known credits at this point. I mean, the biggest thing in his favor to me is that he was the supervisor of special effects for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which was amazing. And the kind of effects I want to see in the Deadpool movie as well, that could really be, I mean, fantastic. And I mean, Ryan Reynolds is not signed on yet, but we know he's going to sign on. This is his baby, and I do think it's absolutely fascinating what this leaked test footage did in terms of moving this along, exactly what he's saying. I mean, it just shows that that line is so blurred between, you know, studios and fans, and if there's a demand for it enough, that we do have much more power than we used to in this domain. So it's really exciting to be a fan of just content, especially this, and it better be rated R. I'm gonna be so disappointed. I get if it's gonna be PG-13, I've heard back and forth on both. Obviously they want the mass appeal, but Deadpool, you'll be taking away some of his core characteristics, his sassy mouth and all the blood and everything that comes along with him, so it better be R, or I'm gonna be disappointed, so I'm excited. John, obviously, you came in today on a Friday when you don't usually. Are you excited about this one?
I'm really excited about it. Actually, I even made a video about it last night. Like, I couldn't wait for Movie Talk the next day. I had to do a video right away about it. I'm really glad you brought up the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World connection, because if you really think about Deadpool, who would be a great director for a movie like that? Edgar Wright would be an amazing director for that. And so getting a guy who, at least for one major film, has studied under the tutelage of Edgar Wright, I think is actually quite encouraging. I think that's really cool. Now, a lot of people want to point to that leaked, quote-unquote leaked, that leaked test footage of the film, saying, this is what got the studio going. Well, the studio put it out. I think they wanted to see the fan reaction to it. But I think equally as responsible as that leaked footage is the resounding success of X-Men Days of Future Past. I think it's made Fox step back and realize, look at what a winner we really have. When we do these films right, look at what we can have. And one of the things I haven't heard anybody online talking about yet is, look, now that this movie is going to come out just a few months before X-Men Apocalypse, how are they going to tie this in? And if so, how are they going to tie it in? Now, getting back to the rated R thing. Look, if I'm in charge of Fox, do I make an R-rated Deadpool movie? You're damn right I do. Absolutely. No doubt I do. But I reject the notion, and I know this is what you were saying, I reject the notion that it can't be good if it's PG-13. I had a really good friend of mine arguing with me probably like 9 o'clock last night that if you don't do rated R, it's gonna be horrible. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, just stop for a second. Did you like that test footage? It was awesome. Did you love the test footage? The test footage was awesome, I loved it. You do realize that test clip was PG-13, right? You do know that was a PG-13 test clip. There was one F-bomb, and there was no blood, and it was PG. And you just told me you loved the clip. So I do reject the notion that if it's PG-13, it can't be. Look, does it hurt? Yes. Is it losing something if it's rated PG-13 and not R? Yes, it's losing something. But I think we saw in that clip that you can still have enough there to still make it a really good movie. I just would think it'd be a little bit better if you made it R. But I do think that the notion that it can't be any good if it's rated PG-13, I just reject that notion altogether. But, I mean, he's got to come back.
He's got to come back.
He has been the one blowing the trumpet and trying to get this thing moving and made. He's the one who's kept the heartbeat alive with the possibility of a Deadpool movie all this time. And he's the one in that test clip. I really hope, but once again, I'm not going to say it can't be good if he doesn't come back and do it. I just really hope he does.
He's coming back,
I
Christian.
hope so.
Yeah, you know, look, I agree with a lot of the sentiments that you guys just said. In regards to the rated R thing, the one argument in the case of your friend I would actually argue for is that during that clip, it was animation. When you film that, it'll be harder to film in live action and keep it PG-13 for all the stuff that they did with the violence, depending on, you could absolutely do it. You could do it in a PG-13, and I don't think it would fail if you did it in PG-13, but yes, it needs to be R.
It loses something, though.
It loses something, for sure, but to say it would be a failure, I don't necessarily agree with that, but the reason why I think that Fox should have the balls to do a rated R film is because everyone's calling for some kind of rated R in this medium, even if it be Hunger Games. They're calling for an R-rated movie to do it in this genre, you know, in a superhero genre that hasn't been done. Let's do it. This is the character that calls for it. And regards, again, I'll do it too. The leaked footage. This was a plan, and it was a very calculated plan. Every Comic-Con, whether it be the San Diego one, New York, everyone's asking, "What's going on with Deadpool? What's going on?" For years. So they're sitting around saying, "Okay, here's our plan. Let's get Ryan in here. We'll do some test footage too. Then we'll leak it. We'll see how they respond to what we've done so far on the internet, and we'll take it from there. If that goes well, we'll greenlight this sucker and let's go." And that's what happened. I'm telling you, that's what happened. He's on. He's definitely on. He wants to do it. The question is, because of, and I guess it's a Days of Future Past spoiler, so close your ears for a second or a minute. If the timeline's all reversed,
that's the brilliant part about this.
That's the brilliant part, is that the tape thing on the mount.
Right.
That never happened.
So that's why I think that they're able to do that now. So bravo to Fox.
I think that was all deliberate. I really, really do. Schnupp, what do you think about that?
Before you go, let me ask you, I want to ask you this question, though. When in talking about, like I said, if I was a Fox head guy, right, I'm saying I'm making an R-rated Deadpool. That's what I would do.
Right.
But here's a problem that I'd have to overcome. What do the fans of this franchise want almost as much as a Deadpool movie in general? They want Deadpool crossing over with X-Men. X-Men is going to be PG-13, whatever X-Men movie they put out. So if you do a Deadpool movie, and this is my question for you, if you do a Deadpool movie and you rate it R, how do you then bring that character into the X-Men universe and into the X-Men movies, or have their crossover, and have it suddenly change gear and be PG-13? Is that a problem, or is that something you can overcome fairly easily?
I would say beep, 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 and then beep, beep, beep. That's always funny. I worked on a cartoon show for 8 years with extreme ultra-violence, blood everywhere, beheadings, full frontal nudity, and unbelievable swearing. It was always bleeped out, which makes it funnier. So I would say completely make an R-rated movie, censor that stuff, bleep out all the swearing, and then release, do a PG-13 with the bleeps, and then release an R-rated version on Blu-ray or whatever. All the people who, now with more blood, added digital violence, that's just Ryan, I'll just say I'm happy that they're making Deadpool because, Ryan Reynolds, he was born to play Deadpool. He's so funny. Him as Green Lantern, really horrible, bad fit. I'll just say it. I didn't feel him as Green Lantern ever. Him as Deadpool, 100%. I hated what they did to the character in Wolverine Origins. It was insane. I can't even, let's take the guy who's known for, having the comebacks and Yeah, so it makes no
And
sense.
he was the only watchable thing about that movie up until that point.
Yeah.
You said
I don't know
before,
what was watchable about that movie.
Yeah, I was watching, but you mentioned as far as how do you bring a rated R character into the PG-13. If you watch the unrated version of the Wolverine, the latest Wolverine movie, it's pretty much rated R for.
Really?
If you watch,
I haven't seen the unrated.
Watch the unrated, and it's a little more violent. It's got a little more.
Got
I think,
that ninja
first
fight
year too.
scene that
Yeah,
they-
it's not going to be as R as we want the Deadpool movie to be, but you can definitely transition the character because the worlds
Yeah.
are going to be a little different from the world that he's going to be in, and the characters that he runs into. Deadpool, that is, and putting him into a side character in X-Men. You can make it work.
I think you can make that work too. And like the thing is, if it's a solo movie on him, there are important things you need to show about it. But if you're going to throw him in Apocalypse, he's not going to be the lead of that film.
Right.
So he is still going to be a side story. And they've progressed the stories of Magneto and Professor X and, let's be honest, Mystique a lot. So, I mean, and adding Apocalypse in the mix and all the other things that comes with that, I mean, I think it could be done. Just the solo movie, I really want R. And I agree. It doesn't mean it's going to be bad if it's PG-13 because, again, they can get away with a lot more than they
Especially
used to.
today, yeah.
Especially today, but I still want it R.
Here's the thing I think they need to keep in mind too. There is this, and this goes against the argument I was making earlier. There's this train of thought out there that, okay, if you make it PG-13, more people are able to go see it, and what we're really talking about is kids.
Yeah.
More people are able to go see the film, and therefore if you make it R, it will make less money. Well, that always used to be the prevailing thought about comedies. You can't really do R-rated comedies because those ones won't make as much money. You got to try to make your comedies PG-13. Well, that might have been true a while ago, but now all the big comedies are rated R
they're so much
comedies,
better.
and they're making money. So, and I think you can do the same thing with the comic book genre. I think you can do it. Yes, you do want to get kids hooked in for a lot of these characters. I think that's great. Marvel does a masterful job
Not
on it.
for Deadpool.
The Dark Knight felt like a very adult series by Nolan, and yet it's a PG-13 world. You can do that. But they've proven you can do R and make bank.
Yeah, and the difference is that this character isn't really suited for kids. And Ryan Reynolds has also been in another rated R superhero movie, and that was Blade. He was in the third Blade.
That's
right.
But the first Blade.
Once again, the only watchable thing of a horrible
Hannibal
movie.
That's right. That's right.
that. He does that a lot.
Blade, the first Blade was rated R and needed to be because that character's not suited for kids.
Right.
This
Yeah.
character's not suited for kids. It really
It's
isn't.
really not.
From what he is. So let's make it R, Fox.
And didn't Tim Hunter direct that the leaked footage?
Yes.
That's what I
Yeah.
So I
Yes,
mean,
he did.
that's the guy who's directing the movie, and I thought the leaked footage was great.
They caught the tone so perfectly.
Exactly.
The ridiculousness of it,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
slickness of it.
It was from the comics. It was exactly what we want to see. So it's possible, but I want more.
Yeah.
All right, Ashley, what's next?
Following the news of the Deadpool announcement, Fox has shifted the release dates for a few of their other films. The Assassin's Creed adaptation starring Michael Fassbender has been taken off the summer 2015 calendar, and it's believed that it will be rescheduled to hit theaters in summer 2016. Josh Trank's Fantastic Four has been pushed back from releasing June 19th to August 7th. And finally, the young adult John Green film Paper Towns has moved up to the vacated June 19th date from July 31st. John, what do you make of Fox's release date shuffle?
The moving from earlier up into August, that makes sense. All that kind of, where's Assassin's Creed? I understand moving. We're used to in this business seeing movies change dates. A couple months here, a couple of months there. Our antennas go up when it's like a year-long push, whatever. But we get kind of worried when a studio pulls a movie off a release date and does not have any announcement as to when it is going to come out. And that's what they just did with Assassin's Creed. And that's concerning. It's really concerning. So I don't know, have they lost faith in this? Is it just a scheduling issue? Let's face it, Michael Fassbender is one of the most highly in-demand actors in the world today. I mean, this is one of the situations where it's literally, if you have to bump production 2 weeks, you may lose Fassbender for 5 months. I mean, so like little change in the schedule could really affect that type of stuff. So now maybe, we can't shoot this anywhere near on time now, so we're gonna have to put it to some unspecified date. The speculation right now is going to be sometime in 2016. And I hope that's all we're talking about here is scheduling issues. I hope it's not a bigger issue, so fingers crossed for now.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, we are all waiting for the best video game to film adaptation, and right now it looks like it's going to be up to Warcraft and Duncan Jones because we're not going to get this for a while. I heard it was script issues, and frankly, I mean, we talk about this a lot when things shift. I'd rather you get it right than rush it, and with Assassin's Creed, it is a very extensive, interesting, crazy storyline, and I'd rather you get it right. So, but it's never a good sign when it's like, we're going to push it, we'll let you know when. Josh Trank, I mean, August used to be a really dead month. Guardians certainly changed that. And it kind of is a much more wide open month now. So less competition for those crazy summer blockbusters. So I don't think that's actually a bad move on their part. And it's just a couple months, so we're not like, oh no, what's happening? And Fault in Our Stars opened in June. Which was another John Green film, which did incredibly well. So that feels very strategic as well. So the only red flag to me is the Assassin's Creed. Sean?
I think it's because Fassbender's shooting Prometheus 2, Paradise. That's,
Oh dear.
they had to just make some room for the schedule, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think aside from them, not cementing it in 2017 or anywhere in the future, they should have just been like 2019, just claim a date and then move it up or whatever. But yeah, I think moving Fantastic Four is a smart move because you're right. With Guardians, they proved you can open big, and there's not all these other superhero movies around, so it'll give Fantastic Four that extra little juice that it needs, you know.
Yeah, Christian?
I'm actually on the other side with you guys with the Assassin's Creed thing. I think it's a good move, and I'll tell you why. Because when this movie came out, when they announced this movie, they announced a release date before they had a director, before they had anything. They said, this is when it's coming out. And everyone else, when you sign on to the project, like, whoa, I have to do this, and I have to hit this, I got to hit the script. And like you said, Amy Rose, it's a matter of them maybe stepping back. It very well had to be scheduled and stuff, but they probably pushed it back and said, we don't need it to come out then. We have other properties that we can move now, and now we have this Deadpool thing. Let's move it. Let's take our time with it. Let Warcraft be the first video game good adaptation, and let's hope that it is. And I think that I would rather see an Assassin's Creed with Michael Fassbender take its time, and I hope that's what it is because they were rushing it. They were rushing the release date, so I think that's why they're moving it because now that they can. In regards to Fantastic Four, I'm on the same page. I think it's a brilliant move, and I also think because it's a not proven property yet, because you forget about the Tim Story ones, and there's some excitement for it. There's a lot of skepticism for it. You put it out in August. It's a nice date, and because we have a lot of stuff, and this is August 2016 is when. So you're also going to have. This is the year that Batman v Superman. This is going to be the spin-off of the Star Wars. We don't know when this.
2015, I thought.
15.
2015? Is that what?
15.
Yeah,
15.
sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then 2015, you have right around the corner is Star Wars hitting. So that August spot is a great spot to be for them because instead of being looped in with the Avengers right around that time, now you're looped. Now you have your own spot. That's a brilliant move. And then the Green movie, yeah, sure. It's like you said with The Fault in Our Stars. I like the moves.
Before we go on to buy and sell, I should let you guys know this. This is just breaking right now. According to Variety magazine, director of films like End of Watch, Training Day, and the upcoming film Fury, David Ayer, has been signed by DC to direct a Suicide Squad movie. So that is coming out right now. Apparently, Dan Lynn is producing on a script done by Justin Marks. There's no date associated with it right now, but you got...
Damn!
DC has... We've been talking about how Marvel has been bringing in a lot of really solid directors, and Star Wars is bringing in a lot of great solid directors. Yeah. Star Wars better. But now we've got DC bringing in the director of Training Day and End of Watch and Fury to direct a Suicide Squad movie. That's
cool.
Really interesting.
That's
Great
amazing.
news.
I guess we're all just going to have to take some time to actually think about that. Maybe we'll talk about it more on Monday.
Seems like a good fit, though. All right, as mentioned, we're now getting into buy or sell. Miss Moseva has a couple other items going on in the world of movie news, and my gent panelists and I are simply going to say if we buy or sell it.
Legendary Pictures previously revealed that a Godzilla 2 film is hitting theaters on June 8, 2018, with director Gareth Edwards back at the helm. Now, writer Max Browenstein, who penned the first film, has been confirmed to return to write the sequel script. Schnett, buy or sell Browenstein returning to pen Godzilla 2?
Well, seeing as it's 5 years away, I'm happy that I like Pee Wee Herman too. Can't wait to see, as long as they don't cut away every time Godzilla's about to fight a monster and cut away to a little kid eating chips on the couch, I'm all in.
Christian?
Godzilla! I buy it. I mean, it wasn't his fault. So I think for the
He
kid,
wrote it.
Yeah, but he gets notes. I mean, come on, he gets notes. It's like, how much Godzilla can I put in the movie?
I know.
And then you have them tell, well, let's do this, let's do that. So I liked what he did with the script. It's not his fault that Aaron Taylor Johnson didn't deliver the way that he wanted to. I liked the script. I never had a problem with. So put him back on board. That's cool.
Yeah, I buy it as well. First of all, let's take a moment to reflect on how brilliant Gareth Edwards is right now. He's directing a Star Wars film, and And they loved Godzilla results so much. They're like, we'll wait years and years for you to do this one as well. Bravo to you, Edwards. I definitely think that the film was solid. Yes, I wanted more Godzilla as well, but I did think it was a fresh approach in developing the characters more. Just give us more fighting. And I think that we're going to get that in the second one, because that was kind of the consensus all around.
They're aware of the complaint.
And Aaron Taylor Johnson, what was that flat performance? I completely agree. So yeah, I'm okay with this news. John?
I actually got to sell this, and while I am with you that I actually thought the script was pretty good, I thought a lot of the problems with the movie really had nothing to do with what probably came off the page. But what a lot of people are just not talking about is I cannot buy anything with somebody wearing that tie. I can't do it. John, no fashion sense Campia, is criticizing somebody else's fashion sense. That's how bad this is.
Banana sandwich. Ah.
Oh dear, what's next?
The word for today is sell.
Three-time Oscar winner Ang Lee is set to direct and produce Ben Fountain's acclaimed novel Bill Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. The film tells the funny and heartbreaking story of 19-year-old soldier Billy Lynn and his squad who survived an Iraq battle that is captured by embedded news cameras, causing them to become celebrated as heroes. Christian, buy or sell the sound of this project for Ang Lee?
Buy, super buy. I mean, this sounds like this book was written for Ang Lee to direct.
Right.
This is perfect. I mean, this is a dude who, when he puts his heart and soul into a project with a lot of heart and soul, it translates. It's what he does best, and he's one of my favorites out there. So, and I can't remember, what was his last one that he did?
Oscar-winning.
Life of Pi.
Life of Pi,
Yeah.
right. And so Life of Pi was the last one that we got to see of him, and that was another one where something beautiful on screen. His style is like no one else's, so yeah, I buy it.
Schnupp?
Yeah, I buy it as well. Ang Lee really is a true master as a director, and I really love Life of Pi. So, let's not, the one hiccup is Hulk. It's like, for me.
Right, and that didn't have any heart and soul.
And
to it,
it definitely had a lot of creativity. I liked what obviously a dude who's never read a comic. Yeah. Let me try to assemble panels. Like, nah, just come on, stop it. But every other one of his films is incredible, and to me especially Life of Pi. And then hearing about the synopsis for this film sounds, it's right in his wheelhouse. Yeah. You're right. They were like, while the guy was writing it, God, when I sell this, I hope someone like possibly Ang Lee will direct it once it's published and becomes a bestseller.
There's a page in it that says,
right.
if Ang Lee was to direct, this is what the scene should look like.
That's right. Like in the prologue. Yeah. John?
It's Ang Lee. I got to buy this. And I'm actually, look, Ang Lee was clearly not suited for the comic book genre. But I really, as a guy who was totally a fish out of water with that Hulk film, I really appreciated what it was he was going for. I mean, he took a raging monster movie and turned it into a quasi-drama about a boy and the issues he has with his father.
Daddy issues.
Yeah, but then it became a very human story on several levels. He visually tried some very cool things. Then there's, Phantom Nick Nolte and the Hulk dogs, and and
the Absorbing Man and fighting in a cloud.
Yeah,
Come
and
on.
that's all gone. But no, if he's attached, the one question I'm going to have with a movie like this is, which visual effects company will he bankrupt this time?
Bam! You had to go there. Rhythm and Use forever, son.
Forever.
Rhythm and Use.
I'm also going to buy Ang Lee if he's attached to anything. And now in his career, you're right, that heart and soul, it really comes through. I will never forget that picture of him holding his Oscar and eating an In-N-Out burger. I mean, come on. This man is so talented. He has such a fresh perspective. And he's just like, you just want to hug him because he just is such a sweet human. So yeah, this feels like a perfect fit for him as well. I'm sure the author is over the moon for getting someone like Lee to sign in. So yeah, this sounds great. All right, what's next?
Toby Kebbell is apparently the go-to actor for villainous roles these days. He's now in talks to play Masala in Timur Bekmambetov's Ben-hur remake. He will appear as Dr. Doom in the Fantastic Four reboot and recently played Koba in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Amy Rose Byers sell Kebbell playing Masala in Ben-hur.
I am going to buy it, although, I can't say I am really excited for the Ben-hur remake. I don't think they should remake the classes. I know that classic was a remake too, but that was the one that most people know. But I don't know. All these elements are getting me more interested because, first of all, Jack Houston, I think, is a really inspired choice. Boardwalk Empire, if you've not seen any of his other work, that character, fantastic. And, Morgan Freeman, we talk about him all the time. So yeah, I do think that Kebbell is the go-to villainous role guy, and why not? Being a villain would be so much more fun than being the protagonist. And I do think, I've loved him since Rock and Rolla. I think he has a really interesting on-screen presence. So for now, it's a buy, but I'm still waiting for something to really get me on board with this one. So, Christian?
I buy it. You guys know that I've been singing Toby Kebbell's praise for a long time.
Yeah.
I still think he's going to wind up in like either one of the spin-off Star Wars films or even Episode 8. So I actually am very excited for the Ben-Hur remake. I think that just picturing that picture with Jack Houston and Toby Kebbell gets me excited because he really knows how to. Even with Koba, what he tapped in so well is it wasn't just the I'm a bad guy. There was something in the beginning of that film. Koba's one of the team. And there's something snaps inside of him, and that's all Toby Kebbell. Toby Kebbell is going to be responsible for, I believe, people looking at performance capture differently. So, and he already has, because everyone was talking about him just as much as they were Andy Serkis, and that's what's leading to these types of roles as well. And the reason Andy Serkis got Star Wars is because J.J. Abrams got a screening of Apes, and I think that people are watching Apes and going, let's sign this dude up quick.
Yeah,
so I'm all for
we
it.
loved to hate Koba. He was so beautiful. John?
I was actually one of the guys on board with the Ben-Hur remake. And the whole notion, the classic Ben-Hur is a remake, but what's to say that the next remake isn't going to become the classic, you know? That's right. But my enthusiasm has been waning more and more. From Bekmambetov coming on, it's not the guy to direct Ben-Hur. Not that I don't think he's talented and has upside and all that kind of stuff. I just don't think he's the guy. You got a very, I called it an off-the-wall Walmart shelf pick with getting Morgan Freeman, who's in everything right now, always brings it, but he's in 45 other movies this year. I mean, so there's that. I talked about yesterday, while I love Jack Houston as an actor, love him in Boardwalk Empire, he's the best character in that show, he's incredible. You need somebody with the screen power of a Charlton Heston. I always thought, look, I usually cheer for a B-list actor with huge upside talent getting roles, and sometimes no names. I'm not always calling for the big A-listers. Oh, this movie's got to have this guy. But with Ben-Hur, I always kind of felt like you've got to get somebody with huge gravitas. So I'm sure Jack is going to turn in a phenomenal performance. But now with Kebbell, I kind of feel like too young. I feel like they've gone too young a little bit with this. So, look, this may end up being better than the original. It just might. Who knows? But my enthusiasm right now is taking a little bit of a hit. So, on the basis that I just think it's not a good fit, not based on his talent. His talent's out of the stars. I mean, it's incredible. I'm going to give it a sell.
I'm gonna buy it. For a little bit of the reason you might be selling it, just because I wasn't that into the Ben-Hur remake when it first was announced. I was like, really? Why? Come on, you're gonna beat that chariot race. You're gonna be, it's like.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it with the casting of Jack Houston and now Kebbell. It's like they're kind of going at it in the opposite way. It's not they're not going to be spectacle, big Charlton Heston. You know him as Moses. Check him out. It's like I think they're going to go the other way and deliver like it'll still be a big movie, but I think they might be going more dramatic style.
Right.
So.
Well, and to go against my own point, I mean, what do we always say? It is never a mistake to recruit talent, and they've recruited some amazing talent.
And honestly, the more I thought about Ben-Hur, I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing a remake. I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping it brings it. But it was like, it's like, I mean, it's almost 50 years old.
That's where I'm at with it. It's just that there's certain movies, it's not 10 years old. There's certain movies that they're talking about making. It's like, this movie came out last June. We're going to remake it. It's like, this is a movie that maybe a certain generation.
I know what you did last summer.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we're remaking the movie from last summer. That's exactly what we're doing.
That's what we did.
But you told me I'm turning 20, which is baffling to me. It makes me feel really old. Anyway, guys, it really is. So before we jump into mailbag, we are going to take we are running a little long today, a couple live Twitter questions. You can tweet us at AMC Movie News on Twitter. All right, what's the first mailbag question today?
Kyle Matthew Cruz wrote, "Hey AMC, love the show and watch every day. My question is, do you think we will ever see Scarecrow on the big screen again? I loved Cillian Murphy's performance as him in the Dark Knight trilogy, but I thought that he was underutilized a bit. Thanks, and how filthy can you get?"
Oh dear. Well, thank you for the question. I love Cillian Murphy. He's hypnotizing with those eyes and that energy. And I too also really liked his rendition of Scarecrow, and I don't think it was, even though he was the main villain in earlier installment, and then we did see him in Dark Knight Rises as well, I do think he was underutilized, but I do think a character like that would be used again quicker than the Joker or any of those roles because of all of that surrounding it. I think we'd probably say Penguin first and a couple other characters first, but I don't think it's far-fetched to think that we'll see Scarecrow again. And yeah, we'll see who would be doing him justice, because I love Cillian Murphy's rendition.
I think we'll see him again because, if for another reason, I think that this Scarecrow fits in very well with the tone of the DC cinematic universe, even more so than a character like Penguin or whatever right now. So yeah, I think we can see him again.
Yeah, I think down the line, maybe in Affleck's version or Affleck's sequel.
Yeah.
We'll see it. Yeah.
I would say give him a break. I've seen enough of Scarecrow. He was in all 3 Dark Knights.
That's true.
He's the only villain who actually carried through all 3.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the Riddler. I'd like to see. Batman has the best rogues gallery. I don't need to see Scarecrow. 10 years away.
Yeah.
I don't need to see him again. I loved Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow and was super excited and happy to see him in the Dark Knight at the very beginning. I was like, wow, they've got him back. I just don't need to see him again for a long time.
Poison Ivy, and there's so many good ones.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Juan Carlos Amarilas wrote, "Hello AMC, big fan. I'm the biggest David Fincher fan. My favorite Fincher films are The Social Network and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I also really like Zodiac, which I've heard that many people don't like it as much. What are your thoughts, and which is your favorite Fincher film? Thank you, and keep up the good work."
Thank you for the question. I love Fincher. He's such a visionary filmmaker. I'm so excited for Gone Girl. I didn't know people didn't like Zodiac. I thought that movie was great.
Very good, yeah.
Fight Club takes the cake for me. Nothing's close. I love Seven, Social Network, pretty much everything he's done, but Benjamin Button. Wasn't a really big fan of that one, but I can still appreciate what he did, especially visually. It was a true spectacle. But yeah, Fight Club, incredible. Sean?
Fight Club all the way. I just watched it again 2 weeks ago. It's one of my favorite all-time movies and my favorite Fincher film.
7, then Fight Club.
I'm going to go with Grain, The Game. I think The Game
Ooh,
is
Game's
one of his
awesome.
most underrated
Yes,
films.
I agree.
And I'm actually one of those guys I didn't really like. I liked Zodiac. I wasn't
liked it.
really super.
I thought the tone was really creepy.
You're right, though. The Game is super underrated.
Oh,
Game's
is
awesome.
love
good.
that
Yeah.
movie.
All right, Miss Mova, we have time for one quick question.
All right, Belinda Bew writes, "Hey guys, with DC's influx of new shows on various TV networks, will this cause any confusion with the growing film universe?"
That was my point.
Yeah.
I
Go
don't
ahead,
think it
Christian.
will.
You're passionate about this one.
That was my point when we did our Masters of the Web at Comic-Con. I think starting off, no, it won't. But depending on how well the DC universe for the film does, it could. I thought that was my biggest problem. I would still like them to combine it. I know that you guys have a different opinion on that, but they're clearly running television right now. That's what everyone's always talking about. Marvel's ruined. Right. DC is doing television right, and I'm not a fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I think DC, and people go, Christian's a Marvel fanboy. I certainly am not, especially not with the television. I'll tell you that right now, because they are doing everything right here. Flash is supposed to be amazing. I know this man is a big fan of Green Arrow. So TV they're doing right. I'd like to see him combine and do a little more.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Yes. Right now, there is Arrow, but there is only Arrow. That's all they got.
Yeah.
And Flash, I saw the premiere of Flash. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of question marks floating out there with all these other properties that got going. But I really don't think there's any confusion. I think we sell the public short and the viewing audience short that, wait a minute, that guy's Green Arrow, but in the movie, that guy's Green Arrow. I don't know what's going on. I think we need to give the viewing audience a little bit more credit. And as long as they make their boundaries very clear, and as long as they don't, bring one guest star from the movie into the TV show, that can start to create some things. But I don't think there's any danger or confusion.
I don't think there's danger or necessarily confusion, except for the super mainstream public that might actually get confused. I think there's power in both, in utilizing both properties to make it feel like it's taking over the entire world, but I also think there's power in keeping them separate, because there's a lot of people that don't watch TV and that would miss a lot of those things, myself included. I watch like 5 films a day, not all the time, but a lot. And I don't watch a lot of TV, I just don't. So I think that you would be kind of neglecting some of your audience if you made it like only this part got this part. But I do think we have to give our audience a benefit of the doubt. I do think that consumers are very intelligent nowadays, and that they might get it unless you don't make a clear distinction of the separation. Because you look at all the other characters in history, and a lot of the times you see 5 different actors playing the same character.
Right.
So
I know we have to go, but I just wanted to say, as far as the confusing them, I don't think it's because they're stupid. I think because what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for failure. And where if for me, if I'm a studio guy, I don't want them to say, this version of Arrow, the fans really like, and now we cast this guy, and they really like him too, and then they're gonna go, well, I like him better, he should be Arrow. And it's a back and forth, and you're fighting over your.
Well, I
over
remember
two
that
actors.
era, only 2 million people watched that show.
And that's real.
So
That
maybe
happens.
so, but you're still
I think
gonna have
the
those
way
2 million people.
The way they explain it, like the rest of the planet, I don't think is going to care that much. But for all the sweaties who read comics and also like, no, which one is the real Arrow? I say the television world is Earth 2, and the DC cinematic universe is Earth 1. And then bam, you easily have explained it. That DC has like 81 different Earths, and then they recombine them and explode.
Remember,
them
they
again, so
had
it's like,
Smallville going while they had Superman Returns.
Yeah.
There was no problem.
But the difference there was that we weren't in this connected universe that we are now with what Marvel did and now what DC does. It was different back then because you could do that and nobody was saying, oh, well, how does this fit into the universe?
And
no
also
one cared.
Smallville, they were like, they thought Tom Welling could be Superman because there was no real active Superman, and then they made Superman Returns that didn't work out so
Poor
well, so
Brandon.
people were still hoping that Tom Welling could be. You know, I say Earth 1, Earth 2. That
Well,
solves
we
it.
could really talk about that one question for an entire episode, but we're going to cut it right here, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on our Friday edition. I would like to thank our wonderful panel for today. Let's start with the master and leader of our troops right here, John Campea. Where can people find you?
Hey guys, you can find me on all the various social media networks, just at John Campea.
Sitting to his left, the wonderful Christian Harloff. Where can people find you?
Same thing. Find me at Christian Harloff, Twitter, Instagram, whole thing, whole jam.
And coming off his Comic-Con crud, the wonderful John Schnapp.
You can find me at
toilet.
Twitter, in the toilet throwing up. Twitter, Instagram, at John Schnapp, and at TDOSLWH.
Our wonderful gatekeeper for today. Give me that shoulder shake, Miss Mova.
You got it, girl. Twitter, Instagram, at Ashley Mova. Happy Friday, guys.
And I'm Amy Rose with the AMC Movie News. Lots of good movies coming out. Go check them out. Tusk. Get in on the crazy conversation, my friends. And be sure to like us, share us. You know the deal. We really appreciate your support. And check out AMC Indie Spotlight live on Wednesdays. Thank you so much. You can find me at Amy Rosie on the various social channels. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you soon.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.